Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Anime1 back here with a new video, and today this is gonna be one of my last Naruto what ifs because I want to switch Naruto what ifs to giving you guys a better quality of the story in Naruto what ifs format. And how will I do that? Through manga, obviously. So obviously, if I want to do it through manga, I need funds and a lot of subscribers and whatnot in order to make that happen. So just if you guys can support me a little to raise the funds required to create a Naruto what if manga, I would really appreciate it if you could go and subscribe to my Patreon, because if this manga does come into fruition, if my channel does become into that format, they are the first ones who are going to be getting the access to the Naruto what if mangas. And also you could just become a member of my channel. That would also grant you early access to my Naruto what if mangas. Again, if we raise enough, we will able to get this manga as quick as possible. Otherwise it's going to take a very long time for me to raise the funds that will enable me to create this. So either way, I'm going to be doing it, but waiting for 1 or 2 years is a long time. So if you guys want to speed up the process by a lot, you can just go and subscribe to my Patreon or become a member of the channel. Anyone works, and you'll even get early access to the mangas and also a lot of other stuff. So just pointing it out there. But before I do jump into that manga format, this is one of my last what ifs, right? The what if that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I just thought it wouldn't work out. It wouldn't get much views and likes, but at this point it's just like, whatever, man. I'm just gonna be doing it for the sake of doing it because I want to do it, right? So that is, what if Naruto was neglected and had a dark release power? Now, again, what does dark release power in this context mean? It's gonna be Kike Genkai from the Uzumaki clan, like most of my neglected series. If I want to give Naruto some sort of strange powers, like Sukuna's cleave and dismantle, or either Gojo's infinity and limitless techniques and the six eyes and whatnot, I just make them the Uzumaki bloodline technique. So I'm gonna be doing the same for this one because any other I just couldn't find it. Dark release just does not really exist in Naruto, right? Especially the powers that I'm gonna be giving Naruto in this one are absolutely fucking broken, right? So the first power that Naruto is gonna have is the ability to teleport from shadows to shadows. Okay, only the first thing that he can do is he can only teleport from his the shadows that he sees. So the field of vision that he can see, only those shadows he'll be able to teleport to. The second is the shadow clone shadows, he'll be able to teleport to them. So that's already pretty broken, one of the abilities of dark release. The second ability is the ability to adapt. So it's similar to Maharaga, right? If you guys have seen Jujutsu Kaisen, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What happens is when you hit Maharaga with an attack, the wheel on top of Maharaga's head, it spins. So once the wheel spins, Maharaga has adapted that attack. So if you attack Maharaga with the same attack that you previously attacked it with, and yet it has adapted to that attack, it won't get hurt. You won't be able to kill it. So that's one other ability. And the final and most broken ability of the dark release is that Naruto will just gain power of the people that he kills. Now, I don't mean he will gain the Kekkei of the people that he kills. No. What I mean is the chakra and power in general that he will gain. If you guys haven't seen Beyblade, most of you have, and if you have, then you know what I'm talking about. It is pretty similar to how El Drago's dark power operated. What El Drago could do was, once he defeated the opponent, he could stack that opponent's power on top of his own and make it his own. So what Naruto is going to be able to do, he's going to be able to defeat his opponents, and once he defeats them, he can drain their power and make it his own. So it's like a pretty much if Naruto defeats like a Minato, right? So once Naruto defeats a Minato, he will not gain the abilities of Minato. He will just gain the strength, the chakra, and all that other stuff of Minato. So Naruto will become essentially like super strong after he defeats like a high class ninja like Minato or the Raikage or anyone, right? So yeah, that's how this is gonna work. This is the dark release, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. Since I've already explained the abilities and how Naruto will get it, we can directly jump into the story and not explain it any further as the story goes on. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's begin the video. It was a dark night, a full moon night to be specific, and one boy with red eyes was walking through the streets of Konoha, his hands in his pocket. He seemed like he was 5 years old with his height and his size. The boy seemed extremely calm, not normal for a 5-year-old kid that were walking in the night alone. Most 5-year kids would be afraid of the dark at this age, but this boy wasn't. He had seen much more terrifying things than the dark. As the boy was walking through the dark, he sensed something. He turned around and dodged a kunai that was aimed right at his skull. As the boy sighed, he immediately vanished from the spot and appeared somewhere else. As he relaxed his body on top of a tree, looking at the dark sky and the full moon. As Naruto could hear the shouts going on in the village. Fuck, where did the damn demon go? Yeah, he was just there a second ago. He vanished. As Naruto was hearing all these rumors going around, one thought popped into his mind. These damn fools. Did they honestly think that they could hurt me again and again and get away with it? Well, not as I'm around. Once I've gained enough power, Naruto thought as he looked at his palm, I will kill every single one of them for what they have done to me. Naruto thought as he vanished again and appeared in his living room in the Namikaze household. And there was a shadow clone there. Naruto looked at a shadow clone and nodded, as the shadow clone puffed into black smoke. As Naruto rested in his bed, at least what was like a bed to him, it was just a mattress and no wooden structure to keep the mattress on, so it wasn't really a bed to him. As Naruto thought that, he heard someone coming up the stairs. He sighed as he sensed the chakra of who it was. As the person opened the door, it was a red-haired woman. Hey Naruto, dinner is ready. Come down or you won't get any. As he heard that, he looked towards her. Kushina looked towards her son, whose red eyes terrified her. He was somewhat reminiscent of the Nine-Tails. The dark energy that he felt from him, it reminded him of the Nine-Tails. But she shook her head. No, the Nine-Tails was sealed nice and properly inside Menma and Mito, and Naruto only had the remnants of the soul, not the entirety. So there was no way that Naruto would be possessed by the Nine-Tails. But, well, the villagers wouldn't understand that. They thought that the red eyes of Naruto symbolized that he was the QB reincarnate, and so many people thought that. Only Hiruzen was able to snap her and Minato out of the thought of Naruto not being a Nine-Tails, because at the start, even they thought the same, that the remnants of the Nine-Tails was enough to take over Naruto's body. But after seeing the boy's behavior, Hiruzen concluded that that was not the case, and Minato and Kushina soon followed at the direction of the professor. And Naruto, who was currently looking at her with a almost stoic expression, nodded and stood up as he followed her downstairs to dinner. As he sat down for dinner, he saw his two siblings kind of nervous as they looked at him, and his dad, well, just eating like he normally did, just expressionless and, well, saying to Kushina that the food is really good. His dad was a simp for most Naruto cared about. He always complimented his mom, and to Naruto that was kind of cringe. So yeah, Right. So after having the dinner, Naruto stood up and went to his room. There was no conversation going on with him, that was at least. Minato and Kushina asked a lot of questions to Menman Mito, and the two siblings were more than content to answer it. But they completely ignored Naruto, which was normal to him. It's not like he wanted to talk anyways. As Naruto entered his room and closed the door, he vanished and soon appeared in the midst of the forest. That was the forest of death. It was not an ordinary forest. Even someone like a Genin or a Chunin were restricted to come here unless they got the Hokage's permit. But Naruto went here alone at the night time. It was the perfect time for Naruto to train. As Naruto was walking around the forest, he sensed a huge snake coming around. Naruto flipped up as he dodged the snake that was coming towards him. As Naruto smirked a bit, as he landed on top of the snake's head with grace. As Naruto looked at the snake, let's see now, Naruto thought, as several wind slashes came towards the snake and ripped it to shreds. This was easy, Naruto thought. His natural affinity was wind, so he was pretty good at it. He could use wind style jutsu almost without any kind of hand signs. He was that good at it. So Naruto, after killing the snake, went on to train a bit more with animals. This was a first-hand experience into the wildlife, into combat. Without combating any kind of shinobi, this would be enough, at least for Naruto to protect himself from the civilians that was constantly trying to kill him. But this was good enough. At least he knew how to defend himself. Even against someone like a Genin, Naruto would be good. Naruto thought that even someone against like a Chunin, his powers would give him an extra edge. He was able to teleport to anywhere within his vision, which was pretty normal, and he would able to do that and sneak up on many people unless they have a keen sense like his father and that stupid white-haired man named Jiraiya, or the third Hokage. Only those kind of people Naruto thought would be able to sense his presence within from the darkness. And the other abilities, Naruto was slowly but surely growing in power. Even the snakes that he killed, even though they were not a much boost to his power, they were at least somewhat of a boost. So he was surely but slowly growing in power. And his last ability, he never tested it. It was strange. Whenever Naruto got hit by a poison of some kind in the Forest of Death, after being hit by some kind of poison from the animals in the Forest of Death, it would take him a few minutes, but he would eventually become immune to them completely. Meaning that Naruto had some kind of ability to adapt to almost anything, and he was able to heal from those injuries after he adapted to them. So that meant he was pretty much invincible once he grew his powers enough. As Naruto thought that, he was reminded of the days, at least 4 years of his life, when his parents didn't, well, they pretty much hated his ass, as they almost, never gave him food, or they never paid attention to him. They let the villagers beat him. Only in this 1 year span, Naruto has not been beaten once. And that was because Hiruzen had stepped in and told Minato and Kushina that he was, well, a normal boy like any other. Naruto was grateful for the old man, but Naruto was creeped up by him at the same time. Hiruzen was a strange man to Naruto. The man did good, but always did it in the nick of time. It was like he was waiting for the moment. It was like the man was always waiting for the right moment to strike. It was creepy to Naruto, at least in his child's mind. He never understood why Hiruzen waited 4 years to tell them, when Naruto could tell that Hiruzen knew that he was innocent right from the beginning, because the old man was always kind to him, and always treated him once the villagers were done with him and beating him. So it was strange to him. Why did Hiruzen take so long? Maybe, Naruto thought. but he brushed that thought off his mind. Now, if anyone is kind, it would be the old man, but still, I have my doubts. Naruto thought. As well, he was done with his training. He was covered in blood as Naruto teleported to his house where he always leaves a shadow clone, and he took a bath and then went to sleep. This went on for almost 3 years, as Naruto was admitted to the academy by his parents, who were kind of hesitant because Naruto was, well, a sort of strange kid. He never talked, that he didn't like interacting with anyone. All he did was train, and Minato saw the potential of creating a weapon that was. The shinobi is always a weapon, and Naruto would be a great asset to Konoha, especially with the great throat that he was showing. It was somewhat similar to him and Itachi in their younger days. So Minato thought, why not? Let's enroll my son into the academy. And so he did. After Naruto was enrolled into the academy, it was so boring to Naruto. So he would always send a shadow clone to the academy instead of going to the academy himself. And if you wonder how Naruto learned the shadow clone, well, as I said, as I made clear, Naruto is already a pretty goddamn genius boy. So he just watched some ninjas do the shadow clone jutsu, and then he sort of learned it from just watching it. So yeah, that's what Naruto did. After some time, Naruto, just trained, and he got stronger and stronger. Only baby steps stronger, but in 5 years, he can get a lot stronger, even if it is baby steps, right? So Naruto by this point is already like high tuning level at the age of 9 or 10. He's high tuning level at the age of 10. He's bordering joining level strength. So he's almost as strong as fucking Anko is. So that's pretty insane. And keep in mind that Naruto has not been in real combat to real shinobi quite yet. So once he is in real combat with real shinobi, his powers are just gonna start to skyrocket. Right. So once all this stuff just happened, Naruto he pretends to be a average shinobi. Minato, knowing that Naruto is no near fucking average, knows that he's just faking it, but he just lets it continue because maybe Naruto has some reason, right? But Kushina, on the other hand, thinks that Naruto is fucking average because he hasn't paid any attention to his training because, well, he's not really kind of interested. Meanwhile, Menma and Mito are at the top of their classes with academics, ninja training and whatnot. So these see things that Menma and Mito are geniuses, well, Naruto as well, just average bum, right? So what happens by the end of the academy, they all are 12. 4 year passes, they all are 12, they all pass, right? As Minato is looking at the sheets of the academy passing this year, he sees that Naruto is passing with an average grade, nothing too fancy. He's just passing with a grade of 7 out of 10, which is average. As Minato thought that, he knew for a fact that maybe not academically, but Naruto is gifted, at least in terms of combat. He had saw Naruto combat some of, the forest of death species once he had followed his son by placing a flying writing marking on him, because he always saw that Naruto had disappeared at night and he went somewhere. He kind of became, kind of suspicious of him and placed a flying writing mark on one of Naruto's clothes, and he teleported to at least near Naruto when he was training. So Minato saw how Naruto trained. He knew how strong Naruto was. So at least Minato knows. So Minato, thinking that Naruto is more than strong enough to become a genin at this point, he thought, okay, maybe I should place Naruto with 2 people, or at least one weak person, healing person that would make an assistance of him, and one more person that at least could give him some kind of rivalry, because rivalry is pretty important for a person to grow. He wants Naruto to grow so that, in terms of war, if war ever breaks out, Minato has Naruto to just send, right? And he wreak havoc on the enemies, similar to what he did to the Stone Village in the third Great Shinobi World War. So that was that. So Minato thought, okay, I need a medic. Who would suffice? Okay, so my daughter is actually a pretty good medic because of Tsunade teaching her, and also Kushina is teaching her. So I might as well make her a teammate of Naruto and a rival for Naruto. Minato thought this in his mind, and one thought popped into his mind, and that was not Menma, that was Sasuke Uchiha. Minato thought about it. Will this be a good choice or not? Minato thought. Because, well, Sasuke was also pretty talented. When Menma and Sasuke did spar, actually surprised everyone, Sasuke won. Sasuke has been training with his older brother and his father by the age of 8 since he started the academy. And even if, academic wise, he was not above Menma when it came to Shinobi combat, he was always above Menma and Mito. So, in that terms, Sasuke would be a great rival to Naruto, especially when Sasuke had already awakened his Sharingan. Since, how that happened, even Minato doesn't know. Since Fugaku always avoids it. What Minato suspected is that Fugaku made Sasuke go under a genjutsu by him or Itachi to awaken the Sharingan by placing Sasuke in terms of, some kind of traumatic event and that led him to awakening the Sharingan. So that's what Minato theorizes, but, he could be wrong, obviously. So that's what Minato thought about the team that Naruto would go in. And as for Menma, he thought the same thing. Menma was pretty talented. So he thought, okay, Menma, he has the Nine Tails, which is a bad thing for the most part. Sasuke is there to just control the Nine Tails in Mito if it came to it. So he thought, okay, Menma will be going with Sakura because her healing abilities are, at least he could become a great medic in the future because he heard that she had great chakra control. So he would tell her Joni Sensei to supposedly focus on making her a medical ninja. And then someone who could support Menma and then, become a rival to him. There were a few options that popped into Minato's head, but no one seemed better than Sasuke's sister, Sasuke. She was actually a pretty good shinobi, a little bit weaker than her brother, but in terms they were almost equal. So she should be a pretty good match for Menma and make him grow in strength and power. And just in case, he would keep the team for Sasuke. He would keep the Jonin Sensei of Naruto, Sasuke, and Mito, Itachi. Just in case, again, if Menma ever went out of control, a Sharingan user is there to suppress it. And the other team, Sensei, would be Kakashi for the same reason. If it ever went out of control, a Sharingan user is there to suppress the Nine Tails power. So that's gonna be the team that Minato had designed, and every other teams are gonna be the same. There's not gonna be any changes because they were almost perfect, right? Every other team was designed for their own purpose. So these are gonna be your teams. So yeah, the students are announced their teams, and Sasuke and Mito are not the most fond of being in Naruto's team because he's just an average ninja, and also on top of that he's kind of creepy to them, because Naruto really doesn't talk with anyone and his red eyes are actually quite intimidating. and why Naruto has red eyes, I'll explain later as the story really goes on. So, they're quite intimidated, but, Sasuke was always taught by his brother to never judge anyone by their appearance. So he just goes to Naruto and tries to talk to him. Naruto just, replies to everything Sasuke says in one word. Hey, Naruto, how are you? Good, says Naruto. Sasuke, just had a straight drop at the back of his head. So, we're in the same team. Yes, says Naruto. Sasuke sighs. It looks like this conversation is going anywhere, he thought in his mind, as he saw Mito approaching them. Don't try to talk to him. He won't reply to you much, she said as Sasuke nodded. Yeah, seems like so. As they thought about it, they waited at least around 30 minutes until Itachi came and called them. As their team stood up, and Mito, just teased Menma because, his Zonin sensei wasn't there. So Menma kind of got pissed because, Kakashi's still not there. So as Naruto and the others go to the rooftop, Itachi asks them, normal question. Let's introduce ourselves and make ourselves, more acquainted with each other, right? So, Itachi goes first. He says, my name is Itachi Uchiha. I'm from the famed Uchiha clan and the heir to the Uchiha clan. And my dreams are to become the Hokage of this village, the first Uchiha Hokage, and to protect my family. And, that's pretty much it. And obviously Sasuke's introduction is a very much different because the Uchiha Massacre hasn't happened because, Minato is still there and he pretty much, even evaded the entirety of the Uchiha Massacre because, he knows that the one who attacked the village isn't an Uchiha from the village, right? So they aren't really excluded from the village in this case. So the Uchiha really don't want to revolt because, they aren't excluded from the village because of Danzo, because Minato really wouldn't let Danzo do that. And also Hiruzen is alive, so Hiruzen really takes the support of Minato in most of the cases, right? So Sasuke's introduction is, as I said, a lot different. He wants to become the strongest Uchiha, surpass his brother one day, and just wants to protect his family and friends, right? That's his dream, and make his father very proud of him. And then goes Mito. She wants to become the Hokage, the same dream as Itachi. And then she likes ramen, and pretty much the same introduction as Naruto. She's like a female Naruto in this one. The third is our boy Naruto. So Naruto's introduction is very, nonchalant. He says, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The things I like, well, I don't have anything in particular. The things that I don't like, oh, I know those very clear. It's pretty much, everything. How this world works, how this village works, how my family is, every single thing. Says Naruto, as others are really creeped out by that, but Itachi is not. He just looks at Naruto with a pitiful look. He understands why Naruto says that because of what he has gone through. But Itachi just shook off the thought. So, what is your dream? Itachi asks. Naruto looks at the sky as he says, my dream, huh? Well, if I must say so, maybe it would be world peace? As Itachi is pretty surprised by that. World peace, you say? He says. Naruto nods. Yeah, actually, I want world peace. Not in the way that you think. I don't care if whether are peaceful or not. I want my life to be peaceful. Rid of everything and anything. All I want is peace, which, obviously, as long as we live in this cursed ninja world, is not really possible. Naruto says as Itachi is pretty surprised by the boy's mature behavior, as he pretty much smiles at Naruto. So, you are a mature one, huh? He says, as he tells them that they haven't passed the gunning test quite yet, as he will conduct a test on them and see if they're fit to be gunning. And he tells them to come to the training ground at 9 o'clock in the morning, just to be prepared. He doesn't deceive them like Kakashi does. Alright, so Itachi vanishes, and then the team goes their separate ways. Naruto arrives the first, and then soon after, next day obviously, soon after, Sasuke and Mito arrive as well. So after all this mess, Itachi arrives in like 5 minutes after, and then they start the test. So what Itachi is pretty much saying is, well, you have to land one hit on me. The person who lands the hit on me is gonna be passed. So everyone is shocked. So like, oh, only one of us is gonna pass, and Itachi's like, yeah, only one of you are gonna pass. The first one who lands a hit on me, well, pass. Naruto narrows his eyes at Itachi. Is Naruto's thinking, I've never heard of a one-man squad of the gaining student and sensei, unless they're an apprentice, which in this case it is not. It really doesn't make sense. So what the fuck is going on? Naruto's brainstorming through this thing while Mito and Sasuke obviously aren't. And Naruto's bulb clicks as he sees, okay, so that is what is going on. As Naruto thinks that, as a realization hits his face, Itachi notices it, and he smirks as he thinks, quite a clever one. As he starts the exam, right, he eventually gives them time, 3 hours of time to land a hit on him, because after the clock goes to 2 or 1 o'clock, it's over. So after that happens, all three of them go to hiding, try to surprise attack him, right? If they surprise attack Itachi, then obviously they will be able to land a hit on him. As at least that's what they think, and they're pretty valid for thinking that. Everyone except for Naruto, that is. Naruto sees this opportunity, and he's trying to see where Sakura or Sasuke is, because if he can see them, then he can teleport to them. But he simply doesn't. So he closes his eyes as he sighs, as he tries to sense them. And once he does sense Mito, he runs towards her, and then tells her the entirety of the test, and that it's all just a scam, and Itachi's trying to pit them against each other so that they fail the test. It's a teamwork test. And Mito, after hearing Naruto's logical explanation, since Naruto really doesn't talk much, even in their family, he only talks when something is sort of serious and logical, and that point of thinking, he only talks then. So Mito's like, okay, if that's what you say, then I think it makes sense also, right? They find Sasuke and they talk it out. And Sasuke, since he's a lot more open in this one, he's not as egotistical. He immediately agrees that, I'll just do it as you say. Because it's pretty logical to think that Itachi would do that. He knows his brother, right? So, after all that happening, Itachi can always sense them all, as he senses that all of them have gathered in one place. As he, smiles, thinking that, this team is probably gonna pass, right? Even if they don't land a hit on me, the main point of this test is teamwork, is what Itachi is thinking. So eventually, Naruto, obviously trying to hide his full power, just goes to Itachi with a taijutsu battle with a high tuning level taijutsu. Naruto is not high tuning at this point. He was high tuning at age of 8. Right now, he's 12 years old. So in 4 years, you can guess how much Naruto had grown in terms of power. So Naruto is, fighting Itachi with high tuning level of taijutsu, which surprises Sasuke and Mito, because they are not that good in terms of taijutsu, man. Naruto's completely outclassing them. Itachi actually has to give in a little bit of effort to fight Naruto. Even he's quite surprised to see how Naruto, how strong Naruto is when he's just a genin. So he kind of smirks, right? You know, as he's fighting Naruto. Then you have obviously Sasuke and Mito come in and they try to help Naruto as much as they can. And just like Naruto predicted, after he increased his speed and strength for just a second, that's what he needed. Just a second, he increased his speed and strength to its maximum. That caught Itachi off guard because he was not, he didn't have his Sharingan on, and he landed a hit on Itachi. But Itachi just stumbled back by that hit, and then he looked at Naruto a lot surprised. Itachi, now knowing that Naruto was holding back this entire fight, just rubbed his face where Naruto had punched him, and said, you landed a hit on me. I guess that means you passed, Naruto. Itachi said as Naruto smirked. Well, that would be the case if you weren't lying, that is. Naruto said as Itachi looked at him. So you figured it out, huh? He said as Naruto smirked. From the beginning, he said. As Itachi just sighed. Well, if that's the case, I'm happy to announce, since all three of you worked well together, you all pass, he said as they all just smirked. Sasuke smirked, and Mito just jumped in the air, screaming and saying that she's very happy, and Naruto just had a stoic face, like he really didn't care or couldn't care less, right? Itachi, after they all had their celebrations in their own unique way, took them to the memorial stone of the shinobi who had passed away. He looked at all of them. One day, even I, or one of you, might be here. Our names written on it. But the thing is that we must be ready for it. We must not mourn the death of our comrades, because they had sacrificed their lives for our sake and the sake of our village, their kids, and everyone that they loved and cared for. So, instead of mourning it, just be grateful that you were able to have the life that you had with them. Cherish every moment so that when they do pass away, they don't have any regrets, and neither do you. Itachi says, as all of them had a really nice, a little bit of talk going on in there. Naruto just looking at Itachi, and when he heard that, Itachi's speech, he just never could relate to Itachi. Itachi was saying all of this stuff, but all Naruto felt in his life was hatred. So, all Naruto knew how to feel was hatred. He didn't feel any hatred towards Itachi, but towards the rest of the village, well, he did. Even towards Hiruzen, he felt a bit of hatred, because he found out what the man's real goal throughout this entire journey really was, but he would not mop around it much. As Naruto thought that they were dismissed, and then Itachi told him to come and report their first mission. They obviously do D-rank mission for the most part, right? I don't want to really go over the fucking D-rank mission of, fucking catching a cat or washing clothes or any kind of that kind of shit, right? So we're gonna directly go to their last D-rank mission. That, after 2 months of doing absolute hell of a D-rank mission, Itachi, obviously being the responsible sensei that he is, he actually trains his team. So he's training Sasuke, he's training Naruto, and he's training Mito. He's, since Mito wants to be a medical ninja similar to Tsunade, Itachi, since he cannot help her with that much, he has actually consulted a medical head in the hospital to assist Mito in her medical ninjutsu. Sasuke, obviously training with Itachi with, his Sharingan and Genjutsu, Taijutsu, whatever he can. Naruto obviously doing the same, obviously, not the part of the Genjutsu or but everything else, because Itachi can do everything else, right? So they have gotten a lot stronger, and Minato has been getting constant reports because this team is the one that he counts on the most in terms of potential. So Minato, just taking reports from Itachi on a daily basis, sees that this team is ready for C rank mission. So he gives them their first C rank mission, the first Kenin team in 2 months to receive a C rank mission is Naruto's team. So Itachi happily accepts this because, he's a fucking Kage level ninja. He can obviously handle an S rank mission. A C rank mission shouldn't be anything much for him. So obviously he's gonna take it, because if the things do go south, he is there to protect the Genins. So obviously Tazuna comes in instead of Kakashi taking it. It's Naruto's team, since they were the first one. So Tazuna comes in, and pretty much the conversation goes the same. Tazuna tells them to meet him at the village gates, which they obviously do in due time. No one is late because Itachi is not late like Kakashi, so they actually do leave on time. So when that happens, this is first time that Naruto is getting experiencing real life combat through real people instead of like Itachi during their sparring matches, actual real life combat. So once they're just walking, Naruto and Itachi sense the portal and the camouflage that is happening, the transformation jutsu. So once the demon brothers do come out of there, they're immediately, trapped inside a genjutsu that was laid out by Itachi, and Itachi starts to interrogate them. Itachi just laid a genjutsu without even laying eye contact on them, because Itachi is obviously capable of that, right? Once that happens, the demon brothers, since they're inside the genjutsu, confess everything that there is to it, and Itachi sends a letter to the Hidden Leaf village that they have caught the demon brothers and they can collect their bounties or hand them to the Hidden Mist village. It's their wish. So after he sends the letter, he and his team continue. And Naruto has different plans. He gets his shadow clone to go with Itachi and the team, while sneakily sneaking into his shadows. Right? I forgot to mention this while explaining Naruto's abilities, but Naruto's shadow has a different dimension similar to the Kamui dimension, which can keep things and keep himself there, right? So what Naruto did, he created a shadow clone. He teleported inside the shadow of the shadow clone to go into his dimension, and eventually just teleport back to the demon brothers, because obviously this is a golden opportunity, and Naruto killed the demon brothers as he absorbed their power, making him stronger. Obviously demon brothers are not that strong, so it's just a whatever kind of opportunity, but just a little bit of power over time again adds up. Naruto has been killing fucking snakes and animals to add into his power, so killing a Chunin is definitely a step up from that. So obviously after all that mess, Itachi encounters Zabuza, and to say that this is a one-sided stomp is an understatement. Itachi, unlike Kakashi, is very strong. He's stronger than Kakashi, much stronger. He won't slip up like Kakashi and get trapped inside the water prison jutsu. He will just end the fucking Zabuza. Once they make eye contact, it's over. Zabuza is not getting out of Itachi's genjutsu. Itachi has the Mangekyo Sharingan, and just don't ask me how, he just got it, okay? Itachi has the Mangekyo, an internal Mangekyo Sharingan. And now you may wonder, how the fuck does Itachi have a EMS? Now, the answer to that is pretty simple. We already know that Fugaku had a Mangekyo Sharingan, and once he figured out that his son has a Mangekyo Sharingan, he wouldn't want his son to go blind by the uses of the Mangekyo Sharingan. So I think it's pretty obvious and pretty clear and logical decision that Fugaku would take to just, swap eyeballs with his son and then, gain an EMS. Both of them have EMS, right? So, Itachi is pretty cracked over here. He doesn't have any illness because, the Mangekyo or EMS really doesn't cause much of a stress on the body as much as a Mangekyo Sharingan does. So Itachi is pretty cracked here. He's probably strong as Minato is, or even stronger at this point, right? Which is not the case. As the story goes on, we will slowly see how strong Minato really is. So, Itachi is pretty cracked. He's probably the second strongest in the Hidden Leaf currently, right behind Minato after he has the fucking EMS. So Itachi absolutely dog walks Zabuza, and Haku saves him in time, and Itachi just lets them go since he doesn't really see them much of a threat. So after they go to Tazuna's home, everything pretty much happens the same. Nothing really changes. Since Inari does end up giving the same fucking speech that he did about ninja being cowards, and they will not be able to defeat Gato, and that they should just run away, and they'll all be killed. The all of them are unfazed instead of Mito, who just brings up an outburst saying that they won't die, and how strong they are, whatnot. And Inari pretty much becomes angry at her and just runs up the room. And Naruto just looks at Mito and is like, the fact that you argue with a fucking kid is just amusing to me. And Mito's like, weren't you getting angry? And Naruto's, obviously I was getting angry, but I just didn't want to waste my energy arguing with a fucking kid who doesn't know anything, right? And Mito's like, yeah, I guess they kind of make sense. And then she just leaves the house as Naruto that just to train, right? Mito meets Haku, and they have a nice little chit chat. And Haku obviously doesn't kill Mito because he's kind, so he really doesn't want to kill Mito. So eventually Zabuza does end up recovering, and they go to the bridge. Here Mito actually stays back because of her fatigue and of the training that she did. And she was able to protect Tazuna's daughter and Inari from the thugs that Gato had sent to them. And Naruto and Sasuke are sent to the bridge with Itachi. And Itachi, in this case, since he has EMS, decides that since Haku is also tagging along, he will just fucking end things quick. So all Itachi really does is, since he didn't use his EMS or Mangekyo Sharingan powers in the previous fight, since Zabuza is avoiding looking at Itachi's eyes, Itachi's like, you know what, I'll just burn this man to fucking death. So he uses Amaterasu and just completely kills Zabuza, because why the fuck he will not use Amaterasu? It's not like it's as taxing to him as as he would, as previously in the original series it was as taxing, because he's not going blind at any sort of stage, right? So obviously after dealing with Zabuza in a couple of minutes by Amaterasu, Itachi decides that he'll deal with Haku as well, and then sort of deals with Haku also pretty easily. And then Itachi pretty much deals with everyone. Sorry that Naruto's not doing anything, but trust me, Naruto's gonna be doing a lot, right? Itachi's, as he's about to kill Haku, Naruto stops and says that Haku's actually a pretty good guy. He was just being used by this Zabuza named person, and it's that's the reason. And Haku is like, just kill me. I don't want to live without Zabuza and whatnot. And Itachi, after seeing how broken Haku is, He's like, I don't have the guts to kill this guy, right? Because he's actually pretty lost. He's a lost soul, so he decides to take Haku back to the village. After he gets a good night rest at Tazuna's house. And that was Itachi's mistake, because Naruto, the only reason he kept Haku alive is to use the dark power on Haku and make his power his own. Haku was pretty strong. He was a high, to mid Jonin level fighter. So, meaning if Naruto did absorb Haku's powers, it would be a huge power boost to him. So at night, when Haku is fast asleep, Naruto decides to sneak up on Haku, and Haku actually decides to wake up when Naruto's trying to kill him, and they both have a battle. And Naruto, who decides that, you know what, I'll actually have a little bit of comeback this time, and he decides to fight Haku. Naruto is having a little bit of hard time fighting Haku because of the demonic ice mirror, but once he takes couple of strikes from Haku's Senmon needles and whatnot, Naruto is pretty much immune to it, because again, adapting ability of Maharaga, Naruto has pretty much the same thing, but instead of the wheel turning on Maharaga's head, Naruto's body is covered in dark smoke, as he that means he's close to fully adapting to the technique. So Naruto, after a few times that he's hit, has been adapts to Haku's ice style jutsu as a whole, and then he completely bodies Haku after that, teleporting around in the shadows and then completely demolishing Haku. And then once he does, he takes over Haku's powers and makes it his own. Now Naruto has a huge power boost at this point of time, and then as the story goes on, it will be more clear why Naruto is getting such a huge power boost. When again, as I already stated, Haku, when he's already a mid to high Jonin level fighter, and if Naruto is able to beat him, that makes him a high Jonin level fighter, still in the same tier league of power as Zabuza, Asuma, and those kind of people. So Naruto, when he's as strong as Asuma, adding someone like Haku's power on top of that, it's pretty obvious that it's gonna make him pretty broken, right? Obviously, ice style jutsu as Haku's huge part of his power, but Naruto, even without the ice style jutsu and just getting Haku's power, is pretty broken. So he's approaching low Kage level tiers of power. So maybe like after time skip level of power that Kakashi had, low Kage level powers. So that's where Naruto is currently at after absorbing Haku. So once they go back, Itachi pretty much explains everything that he did to Minato, and what happened to Haku. Naruto made it seem like Haku took his own life, because that would be pretty believable, because Haku didn't want to live without Zabuza. So Itachi pretty much believed that Haku took his own life. So after all that, Minato explained. Minato was like, okay, fine. You did a good job, Itachi. You cleared up the entire the threats that were there that the Guinea simply couldn't handle. And Itachi is like, well, I'm not so sure about that. I'm pretty sure you know about Naruto. And Minato was like, yeah. And Itachi is like, well, he was, it seemed like to me that he's always holding back during our training sessions and whatnot. And Minato was like, well, that was most likely true, because when he was just 7 years old, I saw him training in the forest of death with those beasts and those animals that are there. And Itachi was like, what? And then Minas was like, yeah, he was actually able to beat them with relative ease. His mastery over wind release is fucking amazing. He was able to just use those wind slices like fucking cleave and dismantle, like sort of like how Sukuna does. So Naruto's ability of wind release are also pretty broken. So after all this, Itachi, the information that Itachi learned, he's like, okay, so Naruto is a lot stronger than I thought. He already has full mastery over wind release, and then he has some kind of dog power that you call that he can teleport from shadows to shadows. And Minos is like, yeah, it's pretty broken. It's probably a superior version to the flying YG. And Itachi is like, no, Naruto simply cannot have made a space-time ninjutsu of his own. And Minato was like, yeah, that's most likely true, but we can never rule out the possibility of him making one. So yeah, Itachi's like, well, he's just 7 years old. Even me and you at that age couldn't think of doing something as complex as space-time ninjutsu. And Minato is like, yeah, and if it is a Kekkei Genkai, that would make a lot more sense. And Itachi is like, oh, yeah, actually, have you consulted anything about this to Kushina-san? And Minato is like, well, not yet. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, then I might have to. As Itachi is like, yeah, if it is a bloodline of the Uzumaki clan, or some sort of hidden Kekkei Genkai, then we might be looking at someone who might be able to make Konoha a lot stronger. He said, as Minato nodded, since just having a bunch of kids in Konoha who are able to teleport from shadow to shadow is pretty broken, right? So I know Itachi and Minato pretty much leave off that conversation there. Minato tells Itachi about the tuning exams and that he wants his team to register, since it's the strongest team in Konoha, and well, once if they register, and it'll boost the reputation of Konoha throughout the 5 great villages, and assert their dominance, since they're getting a pretty jacked or pretty strong, right? And Itachi's like, yeah, fine, I'll just do it. I think they're all ready to be tunings anyways. So Itachi gives them all, the tuning exam registration form, and they all register, obviously, because they all are pretty stoked. They all want to be they all want to be a tuning. And then obviously, once they register, they go to the exams after like 2 weeks of period of registering, and then they all able to see through the genjutsu, and you see, and Naruto sees that Menma just being as cocky as the bastard is. He is just, just being Menma, right? He's just telling everyone that this is a genjutsu, and then the instructors can't fucking trick him and whatnot. By Naruto and everyone else is just sighing and is like, bro, why the fuck did you speak up? That would have been less competition for us. And then everyone is just looking at him like he's a fucking idiot. So once that happens, Ibiki begins his exams, and do I really have to say it? Naruto and the team ace it. All 3 of them are pretty smart. Naruto is a fucking genius. Sasuke can use his Sharingan to copy people's movements. And Mito is pretty smart on her own. She's book smarts. As I said, she has she's doing medical ninjutsu, so he's pretty good in terms of book smarts, as he can just do it, right? So all 3 of them are able to complete the tests and in time, especially Naruto, who actually set a new record, breaking Minato's record of completing all the tuning exam test or written test with the highest score ever in the lowest time. So Naruto has that record now, and obviously they go to the Forest of Death. Now the thing here is Orochimaru. What would Orochimaru do, since there's already enough of Uchihas in the village that he would need in order to get the Sharingan in his own hands? Now The number one thing that I think Orochimaru would try to do is get his hands on the Nine Tails first, or if he somehow found out Naruto's abilities, which I do think that he would somehow find out about it. And since how much research Orochimaru has done, he would also know about Naruto's dark release as a Kekkei. And since Orochimaru wants every single Kekkei in the world, he would target Naruto more than the Nine Tails. So Orochimaru's target in this case would be the Dark Release power that Naruto possesses. And since that is the case, he would try to encounter Team 11 or Team Itachi, which he would be successful to isolate Naruto from the rest of the team. He would isolate Naruto from the rest of the team by distracting Sasuke and Mito with the snake summon, and the snake summon would take them both away, and he and Naruto would be left on their own. So Orochimaru releases killing intent, but Naruto would stand there unfazed, not worried in the slightest a bit, and Orochimaru would just grin as he sees that, and he's like, this is gonna be a lot of fucking fun. I'm gonna enjoy it, seeing how much potential you have with that Kekkei Genkai that you have. Naruto's like, oh, a Kekkei Genkai, you say? So I guess it is as I thought. Being from the famed Uzumaki clan, I wonder why they were exterminated. The sealing jutsu that they had wasn't that big enough of a threat for the 5 great nations to team up, including Konoha, and wipe them out. There had to be some other factor playing along. Naruto would say to Orochimaru, as Orochimaru would smirk, you're a pretty smart one. And being able to come to that conclusion, and Naruto shrugs it off, and he's like, well, it just took some basic logical thinking, and most people could just think of that. And Orochimaru is, just impressed by Naruto's. And the Orochimaru is, impressed by Naruto's deduction skills. So then he starts to fight Naruto. Obviously not going all out. When Naruto, knowing that this is a fucking Sanin, does go all out, because if he doesn't, he is likely gonna get killed. And Orochimaru, since Naruto is a low Kage tier level fighter, actually has to try a bit. So he actually is trying very hard to fight Naruto, and Orochimaru is just getting more and more intrigued, because the more attacks that he throws at Naruto, he realizes the less damage Naruto is taking. The area that Naruto is getting attacked by Orochimaru's ninjutsu, a black smoke covers it, and then it heals completely. And then when Orochimaru attacks Naruto with the same attack that hurt him before, it just doesn't hurt him anymore. Orochimaru is pretty intrigued, as he thinks that this is one of the abilities of the Dark Release, and it's pretty broken, being able to adapt to any and all phenomena. As Naruto has started to adapt to Orochimaru's attacks, Orochimaru is kind of getting, freaked out, because if Naruto, sort of adapts to all of his attacks, it's not gonna be good for him, because he won't be able to damage Naruto at all. And this boy's durability is pretty good. So, the only way to actually, do something to Naruto is actually just kill him in one single blow. And Orochimaru obviously doesn't want to do that. He wants Naruto to be his vessel. But Orochimaru has a theory. That is, if he places a curse mark on Naruto, the Dark Release in Naruto would actually adapt to the curse mark and make it his own power, instead of Orochimaru being able to control Naruto through the curse mark. So what Orochimaru will be pretty much doing is he will be giving power to Naruto without being able to control him, which is obviously going to come and bite him in the ass afterwards. So Orochimaru pretty much retreats over here, which Naruto is pretty angry about, because he was able to, adapt to pretty much Orochimaru's attacks And if the battle had dragged on a bit more, he would have probably defeated him and, gained a Sanin's power, which would have been a huge boost to his own already ridiculous strength. So Naruto eventually finds Sasuke and Mito, who killed the snake with pretty ease, and they're just rushing towards him. But Naruto just tells them that he took care of the strange snake ninja type thing. He doesn't tell them there was Orochimaru, obviously. So the team eventually does acquire all the scrolls, and they go to the third stage, or the preliminary the rounds of the tuning exams. So obviously most of the battles just go the fucking same. Nothing changes much. Menma fights Kiba, Sasuke fights the fucking strange sound ninja thingy. Naruto over here actually fights someone else, which I'll reveal later. Rock Lee fights Gara, and every fights pretty much goes the same. Only two fighters are actually left out from this entire mess, right? And that is Suki and Naruto, and also Kabuto and that Mito. So in this case, what happens is Naruto faces Suki, and she is the one person that's actually terrified of Naruto. Obviously, I'm not gonna make this a romance thing with Suki. Don't worry. She's gonna have a pretty important role in the story as the story goes on, because of this particular event. So Naruto fights Suki. She's actually pretty terrified of him because of dark aura that Naruto just simply emanates. Right? Mito does fight Kabuto, and Kabuto just gives up. He doesn't want to fight Mito. So, Naruto and Suki start fighting. Suki immediately activates a Sharingan, since, Kakashi has been teaching her how to, control the Sharingan better. She has a 2 Tomoe Sharingan in both of her eyes, and she's actually pretty good at lightning jutsu and also fireball jutsu and stuff. So, she's pretty decent fighter. She tries to engage Naruto in a taijutsu battle, tries to get him into genjutsu, but nothing really seems to be working. Naruto, just avoids or dodges all of her attacks, and really doesn't when she throws some kind of lightning ninjutsu, he just counters with his wind ninjutsu, and when she throws some kind of fireball ninjutsu, he just stands there, lets the attack burn him, and then the black smoke comes and then heals him, and then he's just fucking immune to fire ninjutsu that she throws at him. So she's pretty terrified, since Naruto is literally unbeatable. As the Naruto decides that he's gonna end it, he teleports behind her using her shadow in an instant, and just tops her in the back of the head and knocks her out clean and cold. As he does that, he just lays her down gently in the ground, and then the proctor announces that Naruto won the fight. Everyone is surprised, since Suki, here by Kakashi, was stated to be a mid-tuning level fighter. So if Naruto deals with her that quickly and that easily, it simply means that Naruto is on a different level, which his low Kage tier of fighting ability is no joke for a Genin. So obviously the fights for the finals are decided. Everything is pretty much the same. Temari versus Shikamaru. Shino versus Kankuro, and Gaara versus Sasuke. Menma versus Neji, and Mito versus Naruto. So these are the fights that's gonna happen. Since Itachi is like, I think I'll be training Sasuke, and then he asks Naruto if he needs training, he can just come to the Uchiha training ground. Naruto's like, yeah, okay, that will do, because Itachi doesn't want to leave Naruto alone, and he says the same thing to Mito, but Mito actually there's someone else coming to train her, and that is Jiraiya of the Sanin, who's coming to train her. Actually, just kidding, it's Tsunade who's coming to train her, and Kushina who's coming to train Mito, since they both are expertise in ninjutsu and expertise in other fields that Mito wants to learn, and then Jiraiya is the one training Menma. So, and Naruto is just training on his fucking own. He doesn't really need much people to train him, right? So, as Naruto is doing all this, he thinks, I've been noticing a lot of strange ass activities over here. The sound ninjas just sneaking around our village. I think I'll go and investigate it. As Naruto goes and investigate this whole entire mess, he sees a lot of tunings, killing Konoha tuning, right? Sand tuning killing Konoha tuning because they found out some kind of information. And Naruto is like pretty curious about it, so he just goes there and asks them, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck are you killing our tunings? And then the sand tunings are like, oh fuck, we need to kill this brat as well. Naruto's like, yeah, well, if that's it, then I guess I'll have to kill you. And then Naruto obviously demolishes all of them, right? These are high tuning level fighters, and not one or two of them. It's like 5 or 6 of them. So Naruto, obviously, since he has killed them with his own hands, he can use Dark Release and absorb their power and make it his own. Meaning he just increased their power like by a small margin again. So after dealing with all of those tunings, Naruto actually decides to go on a bit of a hunting for rogue ninjas for his training, which obviously is just using Dark Release to add on to his power more, right? It is training for him because he can just add on to his power. So Naruto actually gets into a scuffle with a couple of A rank ninjas and couple of B rank ninjas here and there, and that helps him increase his power a crap ton a lot. And Naruto is already a high Kage level fighter, on par with the least of the Shanin and the third Raikage in terms of speed and whatnot, right? So Naruto is already pretty broken as is. And even someone like Minato actually at this point will probably not be able to defeat him. Minato's stats are of Naruto, since Minato does scale to the likes of Hashirama and Madara in terms of speed and agility and whatnot. But Naruto's ability to adapt to any and all phenomena would probably be too much for Minato to handle, right? So this is why all this mess happened, and then obviously the Chunin exam starts. Surprisingly, the first match is between Naruto and Mita. Mita's pretty confident that she'll be able to beat her brother since he can use her chakra chains from the Uzumaki clan and whatnot, right? Actually, Minato has not talked about the strange bloodline from the Uzumaki clan. Was there any other bloodline? So he to Kushina. So Kushina is going to be seeing Naruto in combat for the first time here. So Naruto and Mito are about to battle, and as they start fighting, Mito is on the aggressive. Sees her eyes become red with slits in them. She's actually using the Nine-Tails chakra because she knows how fucking strong Naruto is, so she doesn't hold back. She uses everything that she got, starts to use Rasengan, starts to use, chakra infused punch, a really small version of it, but taught to her by Tsunade. She's using everything that she can, but Naruto, is just teleporting around, dodging her, just not paying much of an attention to her as he should, because being at on par with the likes of the Sanin, what could she really do to someone like that, right? Naruto is just stoic and just dodging everything. But as this goes on, Kushina, on the other hand, is shocked to see what is going on, because she knows exactly what Naruto has and what he's doing, and she's shocked. And Minato, who is just watching this from the Hokage podium, sees Kushina shocked face, as he just confirms it, that this is some kind of bloodline from the Uzumaki clan. And Mikoto, who is sitting beside Kushina, sees the terrified look on Kushina's face, and she's like, "Oh, Kushina, what's wrong? Why are you so terrified?" And Kushina's like, "That blood, that moves, those moves said it's so similar to the rumored Dark Release Kikai of the Uzumaki clan." And Mikoto, Dark Release? What's that? And then she's like, the ability to use shadows and being able to adapt to any and all phenomena. Those are the abilities of the Dark Release. But there was one more that was just terrifying. That was, if you killed someone, you were able to use their power as your own. And if that's what Naruto has, then the thought of it just scared her, because the previous user of the Dark Release had become so greedy with the thought of power that he actually disregarded those monkey clans, started slaughtering everyone. They actually had to create a seal because he became so powerful, to seal him away for all eternity, because eventually he did die in the seal, because he's just a human. He's not a Otsutsuki or anything, right? So after telling that story to Mikoto is actually just looking at Naruto, thinking that he couldn't possibly become a monster like that. And boy, oh boy, how wrong would they be to think that the previous user of the Dark Release didn't have a traumatic past, but our boy does, and he wants blood and revenge on everyone that caused him pain. So after this, just absolute embarrassment on Mito's side, Naruto decides that actually, just for the sake of how Minato and Kushina treated him, he's actually gonna end up taking it out on Mito over here. So Naruto starts going on the fucking offense. He's just beating Mito down in every single way that he can, right? Just breaking her, legs, hands, dog walking her, just every giving her the beat down of a lifetime, and without even trying, right? He's not even trying much. At last, Naruto just uses his wind, slashes at Mito and just cuts her up. Not like cutting her up into tiny small bits. He just cuts her up, giving up a gash here and there, and then Mito just passes out, knocked out clean and cold. And the medics are called immediately to actually attend to her because she's severely injured, right? Kushina eventually just rushes towards the medics, and then just tries to heal Mito on her own, because she's pretty good at medical ninjutsu. So Naruto just looks at Kushina and smiles, right? The kind of a smile that Kushina, once she became terrified, because she knew what she did in the past was the reason why Naruto took it out on Mito. He personally didn't have anything against Mito, because Mito really didn't do anything particularly bad to him, right? And the other matches pretty much go the same. Nothing really changes there in terms of the matches, right? So that's that. And once Sasuke does land a Chidori on fucking Gaara, the invasion starts, and then fucking Orochimaru's trying to kill fucking Minato, which I'll just make one thing clear. Minato in this timeline had over 12 years to train. And if you think that Minato in this 12 years of his lifetime didn't become a perfect sage, which was able to hold his sage mode for a much longer time, you're fucking delusional. Because if Minato did live for that long, he would perfect his sage mode and be able to hold it for much longer time. He would probably figure out the shadow clone trick too. So just unlimited access to sage mode, and seeing that he would fight three Kage level shinobis at once, Minato would access sage mode, And since Orochimaru in this case does have the Sharingan, because the Uchiha clan is alive, Minato would be in a bit of a predicament. But I think fucking Sage mode is a larger boost to a user than a base Sharingan. So I think we're pretty even to say that, Minato wins in this case, because base Minato is stronger than base Orochimaru. This basic common sense. So if Orochimaru has a Sharingan, Minato has a perfected Sage mode, it's pretty, normal to say that the gap just grew even larger. So Minato pretty much stomps this, right? This fight. He would just, end up teleporting Hashirama and Tobirama away from the battlefield so that they couldn't interfere. And the reason why Tobirama wouldn't be able to teleport back to the battlefield is because Orochimaru didn't give that much of an access to Tobirama, to his chakra, so that he could teleport back to battlefield to help him. So Minato would beat the absolute living crap out of Orochimaru, and Orochimaru would escape with just a bit of his life on the line, right? And then obviously, Mito or Menma would be the one to deal with Shikaku. So eventually, once that ends, Naruto is the one that actually benefited from this the most. A lot of ninja were fighting in this war, a lot, and that meant Naruto could just deliver the finishing blow, and their power could become his. Doing that, Naruto had acquired the powers of many, and I mean many, I mean many Jonin and Chunins from both Konoha side and the side of the Sand Ninjas and the Sound Ninjas. Like 3 countries that he delivered just at the finishing blow, right? Nothing much. He just released his Rinjutsu and just delivered the finishing blow to ninjas who were already almost dead. And then he was able to, just grant their use dark release and make their power his own. Now, I just want you to imagine how much of a fucking power boost that would be. An enormous amount. Like, I'm talking enormous. Like, the power boost that Naruto got from this war is gigantic. Like, it's a huge amount. And then Naruto, once this war is over, actually decides to pretty much leave the village, because Leaf cannot offer anything to him, and just be staying in the village that just fucking hates his ass is not the most ideal thing. Obviously, Sasuke and Mito are pretty angry for Naruto leaving the village, and then they try to pursue him, but that really doesn't work out on their favor, because Naruto just leaves 2 shadow clones of his to face them down, and to their absolute embarrassment, those shadow clones are enough to take care of them, and not let alone the original Naruto. So the shadow clones, after they do defeat Sasuke and Mito, are like, get stronger, and if you can, come and bring me back if that's what you really want so bad. And then Sasuke and Mito are like determined to bring Naruto back to the village one day. But during all of this, Hiruzen actually, now after Naruto left, had a chit chat with Minato, and he's like, bro, from what Kushina had told us about the information about Naruto's bloodline, that boy is just gonna continue to get stronger, and there's gonna be a time where he's gonna surpass you, he's gonna surpass me, and there's no one that's gonna be able to stop him. Like, all he has to do, he doesn't need to train that much, he doesn't need to do all that. If he trains, his base is just gonna get stronger, and the more he kills, the stronger he gets. And not only that, he's able to, just adapt to anything that we throw at him. So what it basically is, we have to kill him in one shot, otherwise it's gonna go down the drain. And Mina's like, I know that. Like, you're telling me that as if I don't know that. Like, eventually his chakra levels are gonna reach above, fucking even the nine tails, and then he's gonna go so strong that it's gonna be impossible to defeat him. I know that for a fact. But what can we do? We sent our best ninjas after him, and they all came back in body bags. They all were killed, and their chakra just missing from their body, meaning that Naruto had absorbed it. So he's just gotten stronger. And Hiruzen is like, I don't know what we can do at this point. Like, I'm getting old. I actually have caught a disease at this point, which I'm gonna reveal in the next part why this is gonna play such an important part. So I've just gained a disease in which my life is gonna end in 5 years tops. Like, I'm gonna die in 5 years. And Minas was like, what? And that's pretty tragic. And he was like, yeah, it is, but it is what it is. I've lived a pretty good life, so I don't mind dying at such an old fucking age. And Minas was like, well, I'll just make your death as comfortable as I possibly can, Lord Third. And Minas here's and like, there's no need for that. I'll just enjoy my fucking life. And Naruto, who right now is just roaming around, as he senses someone coming behind him, he immediately turns around and throws a kunai with paper bomb, attached to it, and it explodes as a figure jumps out of the explosion. The figure had an orange mask with a Akatsuki robe on, as he looked at Naruto with those glowing red eyes. I guess we have something in common, Uzumaki Naruto. A demonic aura with the red eyes, he said as Naruto narrowed his eyes at the man. Who are you? Naruto asked. I'm just a passenger passing by, trying to greet you, that is, he said as he jumped down. Naruto sensed absolutely no negative intent coming from the man, at least towards him, that is. So he listened. So, Naruto, I've heard about you and your powers, and I believe that you, of all people, would be a great addition to the Akatsuki. He would say as Naruto would narrow his eyes, the organization that Orochimaru fled from. And why would such an organization want a hideous, 13-year-old boy? And, the masked man is just like, oh, you may be 13 years old, but your powers surpass that of an Kage. So, we really want you in our organization. Naruto's like, what would me gaining organization just help me gain? And the masked man is, well, I know about your powers that you can, once you kill something, you'll be able to gain its powers. So what if I tell you that you can gain the power of all the tail beasts at once? And Naruto is pretty intrigued. Oh, I'm listening. You have my interest. And Obito's, he's like, yeah, he's playing right into my hands and whatnot. But later on, he would know that giving Naruto this idea was a pretty bad thing to do. So he just tells Naruto that if he just helps him seal all the tail beasts inside the Geto statue, and after that helps him complete this plan of he tells him Pain's version of plan, not the infinite Tsukuyomi. He tells him that he'll create a mass weapon which will be able to nuke anything and everything, and he wants him to control that weapon because they in the Akatsuki won't be able to do so. And he's just trying to manipulate Naruto, right? And then if he absorbs that power into his own, he'll be able to control that power because he has just absorbed it and made it his own, right? So Naruto is, like, oh, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. They just need me in order to control that power. So I'll just do an organization. And Obito is pretty pleased by this thought. And then Obito eventually introduces Naruto to Nagato, obviously, first, because the other members don't know about his existence, right? So he tells Naruto about Nagato and the running on, and Conan also. So yeah, that's everything about it, right? Right, man. Like this is the end of part one of Naruto. So this is also the end of part one of the series, and part two will eventually drop in 2 or 3 days. So yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy that too. So hope you look forward to the JJK spoilers that are gonna be coming out very very soon. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. And also, don't forget that the sooner we get to the goal that is needed in order to this, and don't forget, the sooner we get to the amount that is needed to get the manga of your favorite neglected series or favorite Naruto series out there, uh the sooner we are able to raise the money that is needed in order to do so, the sooner the series will come out, and you guys will be able to enjoy it as much as you want. Because obviously in me speaking to you in this format, some of you guys enjoy it, but seeing it in a manga format with sound effects, different voice actors actually now narrating the voice of a character, and then a narrator being a completely different voice, and then just completely a nice experience of you actually feeling like you're seeing a fucking anime rather than a manga in that sort of sense. So yeah, hopefully you guys understand. And if you really guys really want this kind of series to pop off, please go to my Patreon. That will help a lot. Or you can just subscribe to the become a member to the channel, and that will also help a lot. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.